Hi Mika. Just a quick run through for the questions. So just understanding how to graph. I taught you how to transform graphs, like moving them up or right or left or down or whatever. So we'll use that same principle, but I didn't teach you what these higher degrees look like. It's like 3, 5, etc. So just a quick point is there's 3 types of interceptions. There's either just a straight interception, which looks like that. There's a bounce, which looks like this. And then there's an inflection, which looks like this. Okay? So a bounce will occur at any point which is an even number. So, for example, x squared or x to the power of 4, x to the power of 6, etc. So let's just make a note of that. Even. Inflection will occur at odd numbers, odd, and then the straight will just occur when it's to the power of 1. Degree of 1. So, first we need to identify which one applies to the current situation. Well, if you look at the degree here, this is a degree of 5, which means it's odd. So we'll have a point of inflection. So let's just start off by first graphing. I'll do it in red. Y equals x to the power of 5. So if we graph it without any transformations. So for this, we're basically saying we have a point of inflection, right? And that point of inflection will occur at the interception point. And to find the interception point, you let y equals 0. So 0 equals x to the power of 5. X equals the fifth root of 0 equals 0. So this interception or inflection point will occur at 0. So to draw it, we come and we have like a really flat looking line here. And then it'll just come up on this side and come down on this side. Okay, nice and easy. And then to apply these transformations to it, we just do the exact same rules as we were doing before. So it's x minus 1 inside the bracket, which means it moves 1 to the right. So let's make that point here. If this is 1, it's moving here. So this red dot is moving to the black dot. And then it's plus 1 up here, which means it's moving up by 1. So if this is 1, this black dot here is moving up here. So this is going to be the point of inflection. And otherwise, the rest of the shape is the exact same. So basically a really flat line going through here, bring it up. And then the point of interception, though, is going to occur at the same place, because if you think about it, you do the same thing. 0 equals x minus 1 to the 5 plus 1. Negative 1 equals, x minus 1 to the 5. And then fifth root, negative 1 equals x minus 1. Negative 1 equals x minus 1. X equals 0. Alright, so you just work out the point of interception. It will occur at the same spot. So this black line, I'll just erase the red now. This black line is what you're going to be ending up with for your graph. So it's essentially just draw the original and then transform it, exactly like we did with the parabolas yesterday. Okay, for the second one, we have a cubic, because there's 3 different x's multiplying with each other. But it's a negative cubic because you've got a negative number out the front. So rather than having to expand this whole thing, we just need to work out the key points. So our interceptions will be where the whole thing equals 0 rather. And that will happen when x plus 2 is 0, x minus 1 is 0, x minus 2 is 0. So you work those out individually. You don't really have to do this, but I'm just going to write them just to make sure you fully understand. X minus 1 equals 0, x equals 1, and x minus 2 equals 0, x equals 2. So negative 2, 1, and 2 are our 3 points of interception. And for a cubic, a positive cubic, goes up, down, up, and a negative cubic is the opposite, so it goes down, up, down. Okay? So just think you always draw from the left side, and if it's positive you draw from the bottom, and if it's negative you draw from the top. Now this one's negative, so we're going to be starting from the top. So we'll start from up here. Now our first point, it will be -2 that it goes through. So -2, make a note, and then on this side we'll write the 2 and the 1. We draw it down, it'll come through. Now we need to work out our y-intercept. So you let y equal 0. Sorry, you let x equal 0. You get -2 times 2 times -1 times -2, which is -4 times -1 is 4 times -2, -8 as our y-intercept. Alright, so it'll come down to -8 here. Come down. Sorry, not the best drawing skills, I know, but it doesn't matter too much. And then it'll go through. Perfect. So in short, you just find the points of interception using the same way as you do for a parabola, because it's already in factorized form, and then you work out your y-intercept, and that's essentially all you really need. Oh yeah, and you make sure your gradient's correct. If there's a negative out the front, then it'll be a negative, and if it's a positive, then it'll be a positive. Simple. Next one, y equals x plus 1 to the power of 4 minus 16. So same principle as this one up here. I'll start off in red by drawing the original y equals x to the power of 4, and then do the transformations afterwards. So for y equals x to the power of 4, it's even numbers, which means if we look up here again, it's this one here. So it's going to be bouncing. But because it's a bigger number than just a 2, like it is for parabolas, x squared, y equals x to the power of 4, it's going to go longer. So this point is 0, because if you let y equal 0, 4 cube root of 0 equals x, x equals 0. And then you have a longer, flatter line. Now remember, this only touches 0 at this point of 0, 0, but the rest of the time it'll be very, very close to it, and then you come all the way up. Like this. Perfect. Now, for our black line, our actual one that we're drawing, our transformations are +1. So it's moving 1 to the left. So we'll just draw a dot here at 1. It's moving this way, and then -16. So it's moving down by 16. So this is not to scale, but we'll say 16 down here. It's moving all the way down here. So our point of inflection is this black dot down here, and we're going to run it through. Whoops. Run it through with that same shape. And then our y-intercept, if you let x equal 0, you get, so I'm just going to move it over here. Y equals x plus 1 to the 4 minus 16 equals 1 to the 4 minus 16 equals -15. Okay, so -15 is up here. It's going to come up through that. Sorry, I know my drawing skills are terrible. Up through that all the way, and on the other side. And then to work out your x-intercepts, you let y equal 0. And so 0 equals x plus 1 to the 4 minus 16. 16 equals x plus 1 to the 4. Then this is the 4th root of 16, I guess, equals x plus 1, 1, sorry, 4th root of 16 minus 1 equals x. Now for the 4th root of 16, you can just put that in your calculator, but you know 2 to the power of 4 is 16, and so -2 to the power of 4 is also going to be 16. So it's just going to be 2 and -2, so plus minus 2 minus 1. Positive 2 minus 1 is 1, So this will intercept through point 1, and -2 minus 1 is -3. So this point will be -3. And just notate all of these, 1, 0, -3, 0, and -16. Sorry, no, that's the y value. 1, -16, and then this is 0, -15. Cool. And you've got all your key features of that graph. And last one, y equals x plus 3 cubed times x minus 2. Now we have to bring it all together a little bit. So we know if it's an odd number that isn't 1, it's an inflection, right, up here. And then if it's a degree of 1 like this is, it's got an invisible 1 up here, then it's a straight line. So looking at that, we have an inflection at x plus 3 equals 0, x equals -3. We have an inflection at x equals -3. So we'll mark that there, -3. And then we'll just have a cross through x minus 2 equals 0, x equals 2, across through point 2. Right? So this total degree is 4, and so you start drawing from the top for a positive one, because it's the same as a parabola. So just think odd number, you start drawing from the bottom if it's positive, right? You start drawing from here, like a normal straight line or a cubic or to the power of 5. And then a parabola, you start drawing from the top, so like a positive parabola or a quartic or whatever. Okay, so for this cubic, for this quartic, because it's total degree of 4, it's x to the 3 times x to the 1, so you add them together, x to the 4. You start drawing from the top left, and then you're going to come down, and then x to the -3, sorry, I messed this up completely, there we go, x to the -3, you're going to have a point of inflection, so it just looks like a little zigzag there. And then our y-intercept, where x equals 0, y equals 3 cubed times -2 equals 27 times -2 equals -54. So this is going to come way down, obviously not to scale, but it doesn't really matter. All the way down. And then you won't get marked on turning points in anything like this, so don't worry about those like you do with parabolas. And then you come back up, and since this is just a 1 up here, it's just crossing straight through because it's a degree of 1. So ignore my horrible shape, but it'll just look something like this. Mark all these points, -3, 0, 2, 0, and then 0, 54. Cool. And that's all 4 answers done. Hope that helps.